Welcome back, everybody, to another video of the series. Today, we're going to be focusing on our risk and our time management. So we have found and implemented a strategy, and now it is going to turn into a risk and time management system. So make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to see more. Again, this series will be 2 weeks of one video dropping every single day. And if you guys want more, go ahead and join the 1% Academy. You can join it at discord.gg/leverage to gain access to the private mentorship where everything is done in real time. You can see journaling, you can see plays taken, you can see everything from start to finish as far as how we trade. So if you guys want to join the 1% Academy, go ahead and do that. But now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Risk and time management. This is going to be the most important thing to your system, as this will be what you can control. You can control how much you risk, you can control when you risk that, but you cannot control the outcome. So we can only focus on what we can control. So as far as risk management goes, why is it important? How should I know what to risk? And how will my risk management show profitability? We're going to go down the list one by one. So starting off with why it is important. Now, why is risk and time management important? Well, with importancy and understanding why it is so important, you must understand that this is the only controllable factor in trading. Trading has uncertain outcome. You don't know if you're going to win. You do not know if you're going to lose. You can have a pretty good idea based on factual evidence, but overall, you cannot control the outcome. So if we can only stick to what we can control, which is the importance and understanding of risk, then we will stay true to our profitability. Now, your profitability is also a result of your discipline. If you are undisciplined, if you are taking more trades than you should be, if you are using a bigger size risk than you should be, this is going to lead to losing streaks. This is going to lead to blown accounts. This is going to lead to liquidations. Instead of straying to that path, treating it like gambling, we're going to treat this as a business, as something that we take and find consistency in over time, over and over, and stick to the same exact risk management. So that's the importance of why it is important. Now, next is how should you know what to risk? Now, the next question that you should ask yourself, or you may be asking yourself already, is how should I know what to risk? Now, this is very, very critical to who you are as a trader, how comfortable you are with risk, and what you can bring it up to. I personally only recommend 1 to 5%. Even 3 to 5% is very, very high. We must stick to that 1 to 2% range. That's going to allow you to take multiple trades over time and not blow your account because of that. Think about it this way. If you were to lose 10 trades in a row, where would your account stand? At a 1% risk, that would only be negative 10% of the account versus 5% risk, where that would actually be 50%. So you would lose half of the account. So sticking to a smaller risk is going to be huge. Now, you may come into this game without much money at all to be able to start to invest with. Do not worry about that. Focus on the consistency and being able to do it over time. I always tell all of my students all of this, but if you can do it with $10, you can do it with $100,000. There is no difference. It is just simply zeros after that. So don't worry about making as much money as you can right now. Only focus on the consistency of your risk management. So that is huge. Less is always more. This is always going to be more. In trading, in your risk, all of those things are going to allow you to be able to trade comfortably with a good amount of risk and be able to hold that and walk away. So you can take the trade, walk away, and not feel any emotion in that trade. So the next question that you will ask yourself is, now, how will my risk management show profitability? Now, as far as profitability goes, you can see this through back testing to give you better confidence in taking that strategy and using that strategy and implementing that risk management with it. But the biggest thing with any strategy and any risk management system is going to be consistency. So make sure this is consistent. And I'm not talking about gains, I'm talking about losses, because losses are what you can control. So make those losses consistent. You should be only focused on small losses, small wins, and then big wins. So that's only going to be what will be focused on as far as your risk management goes. Focus on the consistency because that will show and prove that it can sustain over time. Remember, this is something that you want to do for as long as you possibly can. So if you're only focused on just making a little bit of money here and then quitting, trading is not for you. It is not a game for gamblers. This is a game that rewards the most discipline. So if we stay disciplined to our risk management and we stay disciplined to how we control our risk, that will allow us consistency. The consistency will then roll right into sustainment, and we can sustain that risk and sustain a profitable chart. Understand that consistency. We're going to show it at the bottom left here. If I'm taking trades, and let's say I hit a 5R trade, so I'm up 5R, and then my risk is 1R, so I'm only looking to risk 1R per trade. If I start risking 2R per trade, and then the next trade hits, I make, let's say, 6R, so we're back up above break even. Now I decide to risk 4R. If I risk 4R and take a loss, that's going to start to show that inconsistency, right? We want to continue to stay with that 1R risk, because if I'm up 5R, I can lose 5 times in a row at 1R risk for us to be able to even just go back to break even. This gives us more chances, more probability. More probability is going to fall into consistency and into that continued up path that we want to see in our P&L. So don't worry about risking more. Only stay sustained to the smaller risk. Stay sustained to those, and that will allow you to find that consistency overall. So now let's go ahead and jump into our time management. All right, so now that you have understood your risk management, why it is important, how you can implement it, you should now understand your time management as well. We're going to talk about why it's important, how you can create a time management system, as well as how you can refine your time management to fit to your day-to-day life. So starting off here with why it is important. Time management will be extremely important as it will create and maintain a business-like structure. Remember, we are both the CEO as well as the employee. So we need to create that structure and then follow that structure as the employee. This will also keep you detached from the market. A lot of traders, when they first get into trading, I was the same exact way, would be glued to the charts 24/7. You feel like you always have to be in a trade. You feel like you always have to be watching the charts to see where it is going to go. That is going to only do more harm to you than it will be good. As one, the human brain can only process and actually download an hour to 2 hours of information before it retains 50 to 25% less than it did the hour before. So focus on less. Less time is more, less risk is more, and consistency over time is what is going to get you there. Now, the next question. As far as creating your time management system, this is going to consist of you figuring out the best times to trade. Now, I personally recommend kill zones. We'll talk more about kill zones later in the series when I go over my own examples of my strategy when I look to trade and show everything out on there. But we're going to use that live data to determine which days are best as well as which times are best. When I talk about live data, I mean live data of you actually taking trades. So once you've taken trades over time, found comfortability in a strategy, you can use that data to then determine, let's say, hey, Mondays are my worst days. Over the past 6 months, I've always either lost on Mondays or only had small wins on Mondays. So what I can do for that is now delete Mondays. I can completely take Mondays off of my risk. Therefore, I am already risking less, and that is going to allow me, again, less is more, to find that full profitability and comfortability in my days and my times to trade. So now how can you refine your time management to fit your life? As far as using that time management and refining that time management, like we just talked about before, we can use live data through taking trades and taking live executions to figure out our best and worst days. Those are going to be the days that we can figure out when to risk more, when to risk less, when to keep the same exact risk, and allow that full profitability and comfortability over time. Now, as far as refinement in your mindset, right, we will set psychological rules for ourselves. So let's say I came to trade on a Tuesday, but I am not feeling well. I am sick for that specific day, or maybe my mindset is not where it should be. That would be a day that I don't trade. So we can use psychological rules to be able to refine our time management over time as well. Remember, we come into this game for freedom, right? We don't come in just for money. We come in for freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of time, freedom of choice. So using that to be able to understand our psychological rules of ourselves, how we think, is going to be what refines that time and risk management over time to allow that comfortability and profitability of a continued up streak of growth. Now for a summary to wrap it all up together. There's a few things I want to talk about before we go over these bullet points. The first being why I have structured my videos this way. Every single decision that was made as far as making these videos was to prove and cut out the ones who do not want it. The ones that do want it will sit here through the end of the videos. The ones that do want it will still listen to it even though it may seem quote unquote boring. The boring stuff, the job-like stuff, is what is going to bring you consistency. So do not focus on the people saying, hey, I made a bunch of money in a little bit of time, so come trade with me. Instead, focus on the ones that are only preaching consistency. They are preaching truth. They are preaching authenticity. So that is why I have my videos structured the way that I do. So now going on to the summary here, we need to understand again that less is more. Less risk is going to equivalent to more comfortability. More comfortability will equivalent to more profitability. All of those things align hand in hand with each other. Now, with that said, again, with comfortability, focus on what is most comfortable for you. So only focus on what makes sense. If it makes sense, continue to trade that way. Do not try to strategy hop or switch risk just because you aren't seeing the results you are seeing when you want to see them. Only focus on that consistency over the long term. Stick to that fixed rule-based system that is going to allow step-by-steps for entry and for exit that will allow you to only have to follow the rules. You're not trading differently each time. You're always trading the same way. Now, remember, do not trade for the feeling. Trade because your risk allows it. If you have a day based on your rule set that you are not supposed to trade, do not go there and try to trade. If you have a day that, let's say, you lost 2 days in a row before, so your rules say don't trade the third day, do not trade that third day just to make profits back, right? You need to only focus on following your rules. Because of that, that will lead to that discipline. The market will reward discipline over and over. So if you can stay consistent to your rules, stay consistent to your system, then you will find that discipline you are looking for. So thank you everybody who watched this today. Our next video is going to be examples and showing how to use a system. Now, if you made it to the end, I want to tell you that you have what it takes. If you can sit here for even 10 minutes and sit there, actually pull everything in, take notes and understand, study and learn, then you have what it takes to make it in this game. You have the consistency, you have the discipline. All that comes from here is execution. So again, if you guys want to join the private mentorship, you can join it at discord.gg/leverage. That is where I am always trading. I am always live. We are live Tuesday through Thursday every single week at 9:30 in the morning. So if you guys are looking for somewhere to find a community of like-minded traders, or you want to get some more information on what I do and how I look to trade, then you can go ahead and join that mentorship at discord.gg/leverage. Again, thanks to everybody who showed up today. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I will see you guys on the next video. We are going to be talking about examples, showing how to use a system. And again, this is only the beginning of this series. There's a lot more to go over. I am just putting your guys' mindsets in the right spot as far as learning trading, where to start, and what is good and what is bad. So again, thanks to everybody who popped out today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and or night, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.